Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're talking about the Rust secret update. We now have dates for this bad boy. We're also going to be showing you what's included with this and giving you some creative examples because it's much more than just the electric furnaces. And we are talking about Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And I'm Jade Monkey. Okay, a lot to cover here, so let me go ahead and hit the one that's biggest on the list here, is the date. So there's two dates here. This typically goes into testing branch first, and then it sits there for a month, and then it goes to main branch, also known as normal Rust. Just so you know, testing branch is its own download, so you're not going to find it on the regular version of Rust. You literally have to go to the PlayStation Store or Microsoft Store and search up Rust Console Edition Public Testing Branch. The testing branch is going to go live with these changes August 1st, 2024. It will cook there for a month. It will be live on normal Rust August 29th, 2024. That's awesome. And a big change to the cycle of development here, because before it was roughly 3 months. Now it's going to be, ooh, you hear that? Now it's going to be every month. So after this one is going to be the shop update, like the shop drones. Isn't that crazy? Along with some other stuff too, which is fantastic. This is definitely more in line with the PC version. Ooh, hello, Brit there. The PC version, because it updates every month. So I think that's great for us here on Rust Console Edition. So included with this electric furnace or industrial update are some other things like backpacks. That's real. That's a thing. Let me just show you here. Oops, I don't have it on my back right now. We have the Craftable Backpack. That's right. Oops, let me just show you the size of this. Obviously, our interface is going to be slightly different over on the console side, but like, look at this. Awesome. And if you go to a monument and get one of these big boys, look at this one. It's massive. Yeah, that's crazy. That alone is worth it, right? Like, that's amazing. Slot space is a thing. Also, as I said before, the diving tank is going to go on your back, but also this is going to be where the parachute slot is going to be for the future. So, you know, if they wanted to add with this new development cycle some hot air balloons and parachute, that would be fine with me. Just saying. It's like you just look at above the horizon there or past the hills and you're like, oh, I can kind of see what's coming. Also with this update is the moon pool for large and small oil rig. Let me see, I think I have some pictures down here. I do. So you can now enter the both large and small, both in a underwater, I was going to say underwater moon pool that you can swim to if you have a scuba kit, or you can actually pull up there with a submarine. So this pulls you up to the first floor, making it much more accessible to all players. So it just makes this monument more busy, so a point of interest is more interesting to other players. So that's amazing. And to be fair, that was a pretty quick turnaround, because this has only been on PC for, I don't know, a month or two, maybe 2 or 3 months, but like, that's crazy. That's a good turnaround. So I think that's awesome. Okay, so the next breakdown here, we're going to show you the electric furnace update, or I should say the industrial update. That's its official name. We're going to give you like a quick guide. We'll have other videos that go into depth more, both on the like the whole guide part of this for the industrial update, but also some of the examples I'm going to show you. But I wanted to run through these to show you what's coming, and also kind of get the, as I said before, creative juices flowing, because this is crazy. So first and foremost, biggest change you're going to see right off the rip is your old furnace configuration is going to change. Same with your bubbler, same with your large furnace. The rates have changed a little bit too. So you can still put in fuel and everything else, but you can see how it's kind of got a tree there. More to the point, you can stick things, or you can actually pipe the old system into, or I should say the old furnaces into the industrial system. So you have things like a storage adapter, which connects, as the name would entail, different devices or storage containers to your system. Then there's a conveyor that helps move things out of this and then pushes it to a container. Let me give you a better example over here, and we'll come back to this in a second. So if you look here, we've got a conveyor. If we turn this on, or I'm sorry, if we got this left side, we have a storage container on top, and this is the industrial out. You can actually see, let me go ahead and highlight. So that blue tube is going into the conveyor. When that's turned on, the conditions in this conveyor will push it off to the yellow pipe, and then in turn into this box. So we have nothing in here, and I think we have a couple sample pieces here. We do. So what you can do here is, obviously you have to wire this bad boy up. It takes 1 unit of power. You can just kind of see quickly here, we've got power in, a pass through, we've got on and off switches. We also have pass and fail conditions. It's a lot at first, but you can start to see, I have a couple examples down the road where you're like, okay, that's how it works. But this is some bread and butter right here. You ready? So you want to make sure your hammer's not out. Go to your filter items, and you can do things like, hey, I just want metal fragments. You can select that. Or if you're like, I just like explosive rounds moved. Okay, how about just a blueprint? You can start to see how that's crazy. And you're like, oh, that's cool, but like, what if I want to move like components? Yes, there's large categories to do just that. How about just clothing? You can do that as well. And you can start to get really granular. You can do max, buffer, min. You can say, please make sure that all of these conditions are met, or you can just do exclude. It gets crazy. And if there's nothing in here, it pulls everything from the box. So let's go ahead and do just that. We'll set the condition to everything, and we'll say on. And that should take everything out of this box, if I did everything correctly. I hope so. There it goes. Scoop and dump. Yes, in its very primitive form, that's what it does. Crazy, right? Now we have things like combiners and splitters. By the way, the pipe tool is a lot like your electrical tool. You can connect things like so. Let me just do it like this. But there's one major difference with this. This pipe is rather thick. So you might be thinking, oh, that's cool. Can I just like stick this to a wall and make a crazy bunker? Yes and no. Technically, no, but there's some ways you can skis it, and we'll cover maybe one or two of these here. Basically, if you want to stick this in something, it has to be wide enough for this pipe to pass through. That's the way it's designed, right? So it's designed to go through things like doorways and windows. But if you were somehow to build a crazy gap or a little tiny like place where you can squeeze a pipe through, that will also work. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? So let's move onward. Oh, by the way, it's probably self-explanatory how this works, where you take this and then it feeds the furnace, right? Just as a side note. So yes, I just want to show you that the old furnace can be used in this piping system, which is great. Okay. Okay, so let's show you a condition out here. So you can kind of see this doorway. It goes through here. You can put windows on there as well. But yes, as I said, there are ways to kind of skis it. Hopefully be in the example I've got at the very end here. There's some other ways, but we'll cover it here in the future. But just kind of expect these extra ways to be patched in the future, but you know, you can kind of use them now, you know, for the time being. But you might be asking yourself, hey, that's cool and all, but how do I use one of these, right? Because I'm sick of farming wood. Well, I got you. You don't have to make it super crazy. You could just go ham on just the furnace part of it. You don't even have to worry about sorting. And here I present to you a 9 furnace in a half 1x1, right? That's going to crank 18,000 raw metal in 1 hour and 7 minutes 40 seconds. And it takes roughly 2 minutes and 46 seconds to fill everything up, and it cooks the entire lot of it, which is that's the size of a small box. And if you were to stick in another tray on top, you could do 18 of these. So you would cut this in half. So let me just show you. If you were to turn this on, this is going to take this and feed it over. It's just metal ore, right? I'm not doing anything crazy, and this is designed to take whatever's cooked and put it in the main box. Actually, no, I didn't put any filter on there because it pulls everything. So everything comes out of there. So once all of these are loaded, again, we're not going to wait the whole time here, but you can start to see, like, if both of these are on, you can really start to cook this. And when I turn on these furnaces, the pull isn't too bad. Here's our power consumption as it stands now for one shelf. It is 29 units of power. It's going to be roughly 30 and change for us because there's a power difference, or at least if we have the old power system and not 2.0. More on that in the future. We're going to figure it out once this actually hits the console side. But you start to see how amazing this is, right? That's crazy. And look, you can close the door. That's nuts. No wood required. Boom. Cook that bad boy. And if you want to get more granular, you don't have to just do one type of. You can set it up here. Let me just pull back real quick. This is your inbox, and this is the output. So you can have things like not even cookable materials here. Or you can have 2 furnaces that just cook high quality and sulfur. And then this last furnace is dedicated to just metal fragments. You can do that. That's why we have all of this here. Let me go ahead and turn this on. This should work. So it's going to take just the cookable materials and move them out. It should, if I didn't turn anything off. Okay, great. So this is actually feeding into these 2 furnaces, both sulfur and, well, I guess metal fragments as well, because it can do that, but also high quality. But this last furnace is dedicated to just metal fragments. It doesn't matter what these are cooking. When they're done, it takes everything and puts it in this container. So, yep, there you go. It's starting to go up. So you can start to see you can make very granular choices in the sorting. You can be very specific about where things go. And if you are worried about the charcoal production, don't worry. This bad boy pumps out charcoal, and you guessed it, you can pipe this bad boy into. Bingo! As long as you can slap a storage adapter on top of it, you can put it in the system. Right? Right. So you can start to see the pass-fail conditions on this conveyor real fast. Again, we'll go into more detail on this. Let me pull back so you guys can kind of see a basic layout. And let me put up the wrench here so you guys can see the basic flow of things. Again, we'll have separate videos on these builds to really help you out with a lot of this, because I know it's a lot to take in at first. But honestly, once you do one or two of these, just basic, you go, okay, I got it. And you can kind of figure out a way you want to organize them on the wall and stuff. So, you know, everybody's kind of got a different way to organize wires and hoses. So this is no different. They're just chunky hoses at this point. Okay, so you might be like, that's cool. We can like move stuff through walls and windows. But like, what about drop boxes? Can I connect a storage adapter to a Dropbox to have an infinite Dropbox for myself? Well, as long as you're on the chunky lip side, which is essentially when you place a Dropbox on the side you're on, it gives you the thick side. As long as you've got a lip to place this, you absolutely can put this into the pipe system. How amazing is that? Oops, I gotta go back one. There we go. So essentially, you can just keep throwing stuff in here as long as this is pulling things out. Amazing. So that's very handy, but you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm a Chad. I need my locker supplied to like my specifications. Is there a way we can do automatic lockers? 1000% yes. So this one has different configurations. So this first one here, the blue side, the blue side here, you can actually go to your filters, and then you can pick what you want to be inside of the locker. Then you say what quantities, and then it will stop. You can do the same down here. You don't have to worry about somebody raiding the base and just grabbing kits endlessly, because if you have a lock on here, they literally have to destroy it, which in turn will break the system, so they can't just keep pulling things out. But this is connected deeper inside of your base, let's say. Obviously, these super stacks wouldn't exist, but this is just an example. If you were to take a kit like this, it would replenish those and then stop after that. So this, it helps if I turn it on. It's actually going to replenish this all the way up. And if it has those items, and then it will stop once it's been, there you go. Boom. Nice, right? Perfect. And so as long as your core base has those materials, it will pull them in. So automatic lockers, that's a thing. How cool is that? And if you wanted to change your configuration, you could just go in here and make these adjustments here. Nice. So you've got blue. I was going to say orange. No, it's yellow, and then I think that's orange down there. Okay, so automatic lockers, that's real, that's the thing. So taking all of these ideas and smashing them together into a more cohesive manner, but this is a little bit on the sloppy side. So this is one of my bases. This is called the barn wedge. I have the top cut off of it to kind of do some experiments here. I'll go ahead and link the barn wedge now in the upper right hand corner if you want to go check that out. But this one is a base made for solo duo trios, and it is a terrain bunker base. So we figured out a way to smash pipes through the bunker wall. And again, this might get patched out in the future, but this is nice because you can have the bunker completely sealed. Let's just say there's a roof on this, right? Let's just, for argument's sake, because there will be. But what you can do is when you come in here, you just drop things off, whether it's items, raw materials, whatever, and it takes everything, moves it into the core, and it will sort it by components, ammo and weapons, armor, and raw materials, both cooked and non-cooked. More to the point, you can take things that are in here. It's smart enough to know what's raw. It will take things, move it from here, and then dump it into your already existing furnaces that you just attached storage adapters to, and it will fill it up with wood and metal. And then if you want to start all the furnaces at once, you can hit this. It lights all the furnaces. It'll obviously shut itself off when it runs out of wood. This here will take those cooked materials and put them back into this container. And one step further, you can take these automatic crafters and feed them. This bottom one here is making med pens. It will make 10 and then it will stop. It takes the 10 and then feeds them into our output box, which is down here. So you can start to see how that automatic locker system can feed off of this. That way you're not crafting too many med pens, but you have enough to pull from. And you can start to see here and hear it inside. We have GP crafting here at the top. So what's happening here is, let me see if I can bust out this pipe here. We have another storage container here. Let me left click. Can I get to it? There we go. This output, or I should say this box here, once these cooked materials come in, it's going to take things like sulfur and charcoal and then move it up to the top of our crafter, which is up here. Which BP's in here? You guessed it, GP. So while you're gone, you can just come in here, drop it off, go back out, do a monument. It's going to sort the loot, cook the loot, and make some core things that you want. And yes, you can change these into anything you want, but let's be honest. GP and med pens are things you use all the time. So the bunker is even still sealed at this point. So you can come in as a solo, drop this off, It's going to cook. It's going to do its thing. You can put limits on how much wood it's going to pull. So you always have those quantities ready to go. And then when you come back, you'll have a surplus of med pens and GPs. So you can make raiding materials, or you can go right into making more bullets so you can do more monuments. Right, obviously you'd have a sleeping bag in here, and then you pop the bunker if you really wanted to get in or out. But you can start to see how connecting all these different systems together makes a crazy setup. And I know it looks nutty now, but honestly, it's not too bad. Each of these components are either 75 metal or 100. So you're looking at almost code locks for each one of these items here. And then once you have a good organization method for this, it just makes it so much easier to like run things. And you can do them in stages, so you don't have to add all of this right away. You can do small chunks. But I tell you what, getting the sorter up and running right away is nothing. And the fact that you can just drop here and go back out is fantastic. Like, that alone is worth this update like 50 times over. And check this out. You can also place, you guessed it, storage containers on top of your tool cupboard. So this system can be configured to then also put your upkeep automatically in. But to be fair, the barn wedge bunker base, train bunker base, is such a good base on low upkeep. You could essentially have the upkeep running here for an entire month and not really worry about it. Like, it doesn't take much, and it would constantly fill up the TC. So, you know, you can use this on a larger scale or a smaller base like this for solo, duo, trios. So yes, this update is massive. There's so many implications. Hopefully this just scratched the surface and hopefully got those creative juices flowing for you. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with all this stuff. And by the way, if you're looking for a good tugboat guide, if you want to know how they spawn, where they spawn, this is a fantastic guide. It should already be up on the end screen. We'll be in this update as soon as it happens. We'll try to be live streaming it as soon as possible. As I said, we'll have more guides and updates, so hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Good reason to subscribe. All right, love you. Bye. Oops, 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 oops.